Launching a new comic book? Start with your audience's desire. Let me break that down for you. Let's get going with it. Hello and welcome to another edition of Tim's Notebook, teaching you how to create comic books and to make something that is going to withstand the test of time and wow and intrigue and enthuse your audiences to no end. I'm kind of starting at the beginning here, where everybody does, in creating and launching your comic book idea, and to really peel back like the whole reason why you're making it. And the reason why you're making it is that you have a story to tell, true, or you want to make a story to tell, true. Maybe you don't have a story yet, but where to begin? I would say the most useful way of approaching this is identifying with your desire when you were the audience, when you were the consumer, the person in the crowd, in the seat of the movie, sitting down reading the comic, reading the book, whatever material it was that you were enjoying. What really moved you? What made you want to continue with this? What interested you in the process? And it's toying with the idea of perhaps doing something in a similar genre or a similar style as somebody you admire, and taking the feeling that you derive from that and asking yourself, how did I get to that point? And my goal then would be to, when I'm creating something, is to get my audience to that same feeling. And that audience includes you as you're making the book itself. As you're creating the script or drawing the artwork, you're experiencing it, and you're the first audience member, the first viewer of your project. And if you tune yourself into the feeling, the emotional resonance that you got from something else that you admire and that you want to replicate, then you know you're on the right track. For myself, I think that certain movies that I've seen where there's a crucial breaking point where the characters going each way in their storyline create a point of no return, like this volatile moment where something happens and there's no turning back. I want to kind of bake that into my story. You might have other ideas and other feelings. You might have a story about a romantic backdrop where the two lovers they find a way to get on with their lives even though they can't really reconcile their love. You can have the hero of an action movie who needs to accomplish the task, but in doing so he changes a bit, he learns something about himself. All these are really great ideas to put in to your comic book before you even start thinking about, is it science fiction, is it action, is it superhero, is it, before you think about the genres necessarily. Like take superheroes, for example. If you were a big fan of the Marvel movies, particularly the Avengers series, maybe it's not so much that it was superheroes that you liked, but the fact that it was people with extraordinary abilities who come together to stop a greater evil or stop a greater problem that will hurt or affect people that can't help themselves. Okay? Maybe that could be translated into a story about about say soldiers in Afghanistan or in some hot spot in the world where U.S. soldiers are trying to maintain the peace. Maybe it could be a story about narcotics officers trying to stop a drug smuggling operation, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be superheroes. It doesn't necessarily have to be set in outer space. But these are ideas where if the emotional structure, the emotional core is intact, you can make something that's really interesting and unique. I mean, a lot of people do that. Like endlessly we see Shakespeare plays which do have an emotional core. Like Julius Caesar is about loyalty, Romeo and Juliet's about love. Is it the Twelfth Night? Midsummer's Night's Dreams is about the dream world. And these translate to all sorts of settings and backdrops, done in the modern setting or in the 1800s or what have you. and nobody has a problem with that because the core of the story is kept intact. So I would recommend for everybody who's making comic books to really focus on that and think about what it is emotionally that resonates with you. And you can take that and go forth and make your comic book. I hope that's a helpful hint, and I will talk to you again soon.